So can you become a professional craps player, or can you become a winning craps player? And are these two different things? Let's talk about it. All right, first off, what is a professional gambler? A professional gambler are people who gamble regularly and for their primary income. So those are the keys. It's primary income. It's not a hobby. And so what does that look like? Well, in Nevada, where Las Vegas is located, the average income is $48,000 a year. So if we divide that by 52 weeks, we need an income of $923. Now, let's say we take a day off. Maybe we don't play on Monday, so we play 6 days a week. That means we need to win $154 a day. Seems easy enough, right? So where is your book? If you're a professional gambler, you absolutely would be tracking your wins and losses. You'd also be tracking your expenses for travel, meals, coaching, your tools of the trade like tables, dice, whatever it takes to do that. So if it's your profession, one other thing is you are paying taxes. Now, taxes for gambling is taxed at the ordinary income rate, which is 24%. Technically, everyone is supposed to be self-reporting their winnings. So yes, last weekend when you won $500, you're supposed to tell the IRS and offer to pay taxes on that $500. Now, the nice thing about craps, and I think all table games, is they don't provide you with a W-2G. So the IRS just has no clue of any winnings that you have. So if the IRS doesn't know, you don't report it, you don't have taxes on it, right? So, and the key to that is on a table game, you have to win a $600 amount, and it has to be a 300-to-1 odds wager. And that just doesn't exist on craps. I think, it used to with the fire bet, there was a payoff that was 300-to-1, but now I think the biggest might be the all tall small at 175-to-1. So no matter if you're winning $5,000, $10,000, the odds aren't 300-to-1. So you're not there. You never trigger a W-2G. So in that case, they're not reporting your winnings to the IRS. Technically, you're supposed to self-report, but no one does that. Okay, wow, 24% is a huge number. So you're not beating the game with, people say they beat the game with just a small edge. That's not happening. You have to make a major profit just to overcome that 24% tax. So if you are a professional, you are tracking your wins and losses, your expenses, and you are paying tax, which means you are making enough profit after taxes to run, your household and you're doing this as your primary income. So do professional gamblers exist? Well, yes, of course they do. The biggest example would be poker. There's plenty of poker players that are making millions of dollars. And there are sports bettors, maybe. Now, these games are a little bit different because the house takes a cut or a percentage, but you're playing against other players. So between some skill and luck, you can make an income, and that's been proven. Blackjack, in the past, there are certainly been well-documented people that made a living and were professional blackjack players. Now with blackjack, they've changed the rules quite a bit. They've instituted a lot of continuous shuffling, so you can't count the cards because they change the count after every deal. They'll ask you simply if you make a large bet spread. They don't allow that. If you go from $5 bet to 500, they'll just stop you, or they'll just kick you out, or simply ban you. So I guess there are some still that can make some winning at blackjack with perfect strategy and card counting. But again, nowadays it's very rare as opposed to in past years. So yes, there were professional blackjack players. Now, are there gamblers that play a mix of all the different games? Yeah, and they typically call themselves advantage players. They take advantage of certain promotions. Maybe there's a new casino that's opening. Maybe there's a new game with kind of funky rules. They take advantage of bad dealers and different ways that they find advantage to beat, all sorts of games. And when they add up all their winnings, they deduct their expenses. Maybe they add in all their comps and values and that sort of thing. Sure, they might be a professional gambler. It's probably pretty rare nowadays. And most of them might just be problem gamblers, especially if they're not keeping, accurate records. Now, do professional craps players exist? No. It is a negative EV game, which means expected value. So what that means is every bet has an edge for the casino. So no matter how you mix up your bets, the casino always wins. Now, there is one theoretical way that you could gain an edge, and that is by controlling the dice. So just like blackjack, if the casino thought you could gain an edge in craps, they would change the game, or they would change the rules. So casinos don't really think players can control the dice, or at least not enough of them to make a difference. Dice control is actually really great for the casino. It far outweighs any losses they may take as players flood in trying to do this, right? So every dice player dreams of and most try to control the dice. And if some small percentage actually can do it, it's still a big boom for the casinos. As we know, the majority, it's just not happening. It's not a thing. Now, there are a couple famous names out there in the dice community. You know who they are. They don't claim to be professional craps players that I am aware of. Usually they call themselves advantage players, and mostly they make their income with their regular careers or by selling books and courses and that sort of thing. Now, my world is craps. I'm not a professional craps player. I'm a YouTuber. I do track my expenses. I track when I fly to a casino. I book my hotels, my meals, my transportation to and from the casino, because my career is about craps. But I also track buying cameras, office space, expenses for my club, because I'm not a professional craps player. I am a content creator. I am a YouTuber. So professional craps player, no. Now, can you become a winning craps player? Maybe. Now, the math says the more you play, the less likely over time that you will be a winner. So you could have a great couple years, but you pay for 20 years. Math says it's not happening. Now, maybe you play smart and disciplined and you walk away after your wins. I hear this a lot. This is, especially in my comments, this is the key that they always tell me. And you add up your comps, you don't report, for taxes, then maybe you can walk away a winner after the year's over. I certainly have had many people tell me that they are winning players over years. Okay, I don't really have a reason to doubt you, or do I actually care? But if they're really persistent, and it's especially those who tell me that they have some sort of secret system to beat the game, I usually just ask them for their records. Guess what? They don't keep records. They remember the $10,000 wins, and they forget about all the $2,000 losses that they occurred, every other weekend. They certainly aren't tracking it and reporting it on their taxes. Remember, 24% cut. So you have to be making a very big profit to overcome that 24% tax and consider yourself a professional craps player. By the way, if you have the records and you claim to be a professional craps player, please, I'd love to interview you and have you on my show. I don't know, most guys I hear from, they claim to be, I ask them for the records and they say, well, I don't want to make it public because I don't want the casino to stop me from making a living. So again, that sounds a little iffy. It doesn't sound like it's on the up and up. Doesn't sound like they're reporting taxes. They're not a professional craps player. So bottom line, can you be a winning craps player? Maybe. Can you be a professional craps player? No, I'm sorry. No.